Hello guys and welcome back to another episode of Reading Reddit. Today's story is called EP Rides on the Sidewalk Illegally and Assaults My Dad and Me. This story is by Sorry Reporter 7. Let's get straight into it. Okay, a bit of backstory. My father is really involved with bike laws and Cycle Toronto, so he knows a lot about what bikers can and can't do. My dad is also pretty strong, even if he doesn't look like it. I was just 8 years old at the time. I didn't really know what to do. Me. D. Dad. EP. Jerk. S. A stranger. Me and my dad were walking home from the park when I hear a bell ring. I look around and see this EP about to run me over. I run out of the way. D runs in front of the bike to get him to slow down. D. You aren't supposed to be riding on the sidewalk if you're over 12. Much less expect someone to get out of the way. EP. Why are you being such a jerk to me? D. You almost ran my kid over. EP. I have a kid too, you know. D. That doesn't give you the right to almost run someone over. Then the EP pours hot coffee on my dad and pours some on me. Me. Ow! S. In the car on the road. The cops are just ahead. EP, do you want to get arrested? EP tries to fight my dad, but my dad is strong enough to pick him up, and D and S walk him over to the cops. I have no idea what happened next because I ran home. Thank you for listening. This story is called Entitled Mother Threatens to Ruin Own Daughter's Wedding. Oh my god. My wife and I have a great relationship with her family now, but it wasn't always this way. Specifically, my wife's relationship with her mother and sister was especially strained while we were dating and engaged. EM, my wife's formerly entitled mother. ES, my wife's formerly entitled younger sister. GF, my then girlfriend slash fiancée current wife. ES was a decade younger than my girlfriend, and she acted out all the time. ES enjoyed hitting, yelling, scratching, and body shaming my girlfriend. ES was incredibly abusive. Unfortunately, GF was unable to put a stop to the abuse. EM often told GF to get over herself, act like an adult, and never fight back. It was ridiculous, and I heard many stories about the pain GF was in as a result of the constant assaults. She has back pain to this day as a result of the body slamming. The time came when I proposed to GF and we announced our engagement. GF's dad was very excited. EM was not exactly thrilled, but she didn't try and put a stop to it either. EM didn't like me much. GF and I had planned the wedding together. We were on a budget and we knew we wouldn't get much help paying for anything. Oddly enough, EM thought she had the right to judge some of our more budget-friendly choices when she hadn't offered to contribute anything. It was going to be a small wedding, but we were okay with that. I had 4 friends in mind for groomsmen, and GF had 4 friends in mind for bridesmaids. All 8 friends agreed, and things were coming along nicely. Then EM realized we hadn't asked ES to be a bridesmaid, and that was unacceptable. EM insisted that ES was a bridesmaid. We tried to make excuses like, we want the same number of groomsmen and bridesmen. EM told us simply uninvite one of the other bridesmaids. Finally, we had to be honest. We didn't trust ES not to ruin the wedding with her screeching. We knew she might try and start beating my GF on the middle of the wedding. And we didn't want her in the wedding party because she didn't deserve to be with us in there. She might be family, but she wasn't someone GF wanted on stage with us. EM lost her mind over this. She threatened not to come to the wedding if ES couldn't be a bridesmaid. This hurt GF deeply. For years, EM had sided against GF whenever ES was abusive. And now EM was going to skip GF's wedding because ES is more important to her. We argued with EM for this for weeks, but EM would not be moved. One day, EM decided to try and manipulate me over her side. Quick side note, my sister had died years ago as a little kid, and EM knew this. EM looked at me and said that if my sister were alive, I would want my GF to put her in as a bridesmaid. This was it for me. I'd been trying to keep the peace this whole time. I knew GF would regret not having her mum at the wedding, but I'd been trying to ensure no one had any regrets from here. But using my dead sister as a tool to make me side with EM was going too far. Me. How dare you? I would never have asked GF to put my sister in the wedding if sister was abusive, reckless, loud monster of a child. My sister was well behaved. You raised a freak who doesn't have any business being in my wedding party. EM stormed out of the room, yelling that she would never go to the wedding if this was how I would treat the family. GF and I spoke to GF's dad. He was aware that EM was acting out, and he promised he would make sure that EM came to the wedding one way or another. His promise fell through, as EM refused to listen to anyone. EM even doubled down and convinced GF's grandmother not to go to the wedding because GF was throwing her family away. Thankfully, GF's grandfather saw through the BS and took the grandmother anyway. To ensure that EM came to the wedding, GF and I conceded. We put ES in the bridesmaid, and ES made stupid faces the whole wedding. I made a decision to put ES on the far end of the wedding. This allowed me to just crop her out of the pictures in which she was making stupid faces. Thankfully, there was no screeching or assaulting. In years since, ES has grown up. EM has mellowed out. EM no longer treats GF as a secondary daughter and shows her a lot more love and concern that she never did before. And we're very grateful for that. This story is entitled Mom Mad About My Hearing Aids? What the hell? This story is by Lupin Theo Chemist 5. Let's get straight into the story, guys. Alright, this is a bit of a short one, but I thought I'd share. Now, I've seen my fair few of entitled parents. I used to work as a camp counselor, and you get a lot of them. But this is a particular story happened last week on my way home from a job fair. Now, I have the kind of hearing aids that have Bluetooth, so I can connect them to my phone. That's pretty sweet. So I was sitting on the train coming back from the job fair, and I was listening to some music through my hearing aids. I had lifted up the phone to change the song when this sweet little boy sitting across from me spoke up. Boy, are those AirPods? Me. No, those are my hearing aids. They help me hear better. Boy. How? Me. Do you know about Bucky in the Captain America movies? The boy nodded. Well, it's like his arm. He has a robot arm because his normal arm didn't work anymore. I have robot ears because my ears don't work the same anymore. The boy just nodded and smiled. Kids understand loads of things when you explain things to them in ways they can understand. But unfortunately, this was when his mum started paying attention to the conversation. EM. You shouldn't be showing off a disability like that, young lady. Children shouldn't be exposed to that kind of stuff. I just frowned. First of all, I'm not a lady. I'm a dude who just so happens to be small and curvy with a bit of a high-pitched voice. Second of all, I can't help that my hearing aids are visible. That's not my fault. Me. Ma'am, I can't help that I need hearing aids. That shouldn't stop me from going out. Children are going to see all kinds of people as they grow up. You can't help that. I don't need you disabled people scaring my son. You need to leave. Me. Ma'am, this is a public train. I can be here. I'm not scaring your son. He had a question, I answered it. Nothing wrong with that. After that, she just scoffed at me and called me a cripple as she got up to move. I heard her kid ask what a cripple was, but I didn't hear the answer. I hate how some people feel the need to pick on people with disabilities. This story is called Entitled Parent's Kid Accidentally Drinks a Beaker of Acid because her insane mother mistook it for water. This story is by Cinnamon EV4. Let's get straight into it. So my secondary school, for ages 12 to 18, for all of you non-British people, hosts an open night for all the families of Year 7s starting Year 8 in secondary school in the autumn. The parents of their kids take a tour of the school and each classroom hosts a different subject, geography, English, French, science, etc. and has activities and information about that particular subject. I was part of the music department, so my job was to play my clarinet with some flute players on the top floor of the corridor to provide some music for the families as they walked past. The science department likes to show an experiment involving acids, alkali and pH scale. Basically, they have a rack full of test tubes with acids and alkali which they pour universal indicator solution into them to show off different color changes. My friend was the one who was demonstrating this experiment. A tour group walked in, including EM and her 2 children, a Year 7 kid and a 6-year-old. Insane entitled mother is EM, poor kid is PK, and my friend is F. So F showed off the experiment, where PK started whining that she was thirsty. Paraphrased because of all that was told by my friend. EM, hi, get PK a drink, she's thirsty. Sorry, I can't leave this room unattended, but the Spanish department upstairs is serving drinks and snacks. EM, but That's too far. I can't believe that this school is so selfish not to provide refreshments. F. The refreshments are upstairs. PK tugs her mum's skirt and points to a clearly marked warning sign beaker sitting at the side, filled with a refill for the experiments, so it could be done again. EM. Why don't I just give that to PK then? F. Panicked. Are you crazy? That's acid. You can't drink that. EM. Offended. No, it's not. It just looks like water. Acid isn't clear like that. And if it was acid, it would melt the glass. You're just a dumb, disrespectful kid who doesn't know jack anything. The other parents start to scowl at EM, which she mistakes for them agreeing with her. EM, you see? Everyone else is agreeing with me, so I'm right. EM hands the beaker to PK, who takes a gulp. She drank the acid! Almost immediately, PK starts crying hysterically, and F freaks out. F, what did you do? EM, she's just throwing a tantrum because she doesn't like the water. EM smacks PK and tells at her for being embarrassing out in public. The other parents start to yell at EM for being an idiot, which she mistakes for them critiquing her parenting. EM, mind your own damn business. How I raise my kids is none of your business. EM's other kid is mortified, and F runs out to get the science teacher. Later, I saw an ambulance as I was heading home. PK didn't die, so it mustn't have been a strong acid. The kicker is that EM tried to get the school into trouble in court for allowing PK to drink the acid, but she lost because it was her own fault. The warning label was clearly on display, and she was told several times that the water was in fact acid. Absolute insanity. Thank you guys for watching this episode of Reading Reddit. If you'd like to see more daily Reddit content, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like this video and leave your opinion down in the comment section below. See you tomorrow guys. Thank you guys for watching.